we replaced culvert pipes on 700 West and Huffer Road, and we also brought in some dirt for the shoulders on 700 West and seeded and strawed it. We did side winding on 700 South. We fixed the washout on 800 South. We worked out on White Horse Road. We trimmed trees, and ground stumps, and Durapatch, potholes, and worked on signs.
White Horse is closed today.
Yeah, we put a concrete box culvert in there, and we're putting a concrete top on it. Basically, we're gonna put a concrete pavement on
They're
it.
not working on the slide this week.
They were ready to, but we got it closed for the concrete pour, but they're gonna be here next week. They're gonna start next week.
Okay.
They're gonna meet with us this week, make sure there's several trees that need removed, that we get the right ones taken out.
All right.
The property owner has been very cooperative and helpful.
Good. Thanks for doing that.
Okay.
That's all I have today.
Any other questions for Danny? Thank you, Danny. Our next item on our agenda, we have a couple of items with our county clerk, Sherry Lance. Good morning, Sherry.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me today, allowing me to be a part of your agenda. I come to you to ask for a couple of huge items for our clerk's office. As some of you know, I don't like to spend money either. And so if you'd ask my husband, I have no problem spending personal money, but boy, this hurts me to bring this in front of me. But it's so important that I feel like that we have to move forward on this. So the first is our mailing contract ended with our provider that we had in the end of July. And to be honest, the costs were just increasing and we just didn't feel like we had good service. And that was a contract that had been implemented for several years. And so when it did expire, we wanted to look at some different options. I talked to a couple of other clerks in Johnson County and Monroe County, and they were using Midwest Pre-Sort mailing service. And I feel like it's going to be a really good fit for us. The contract is in front of you. We will need to put a deposit down of $9,000, and then there's a base metering cost every month of $500. And so basically they pick the mail up, they take it to a metering service in Shadeland Avenue in Indianapolis. They meter everything. It goes straight to the post office. And from what I've heard from other clerk's offices, that the service is excellent as far as the mail actually getting to the customer in a timely manner. So I'd love to try it out and see how we get along with that.
Sherry, can you tell us how the mailing system works over at the courthouse?
Yes, we have 5 different entities that bring their mail. So all the courts, prosecutors, they all bring their mail to us.
So you handle all the mailings for the
Yes.
courthouse?
Mhm. And so then we then, in our old system, we would meter that with the machine. So with this new system, we will no longer have the machine that we need to pay the contract on quarterly like we did before. The clerk's office would put the monies on the machine, and then they would, the courts would use the postage out of that, and then my office manager would bill then. It used to be quarterly, now we're billing monthly for that. So with this new system, we will not have the machine. This deposit is kind of like the deposit that we had to put on the machine. It will be used for our postage, and then monies will just be continued to be put into Midwest so that they can do that metering for us. And what I found really attractive was that the other clerk's offices I talked to said that, you know, their customers are calling saying, well, I haven't received my check. And so we do have some of that currently. So I feel like it's a really good system that I'd love to try out if you're.
Sherry, is this less than what we're paying now?
You know, it's so hard to determine. I'm hoping it'll be about the same. Obviously, we're paying that monthly fee of 500.
And, okay, and did we get any other, I'm sure there are several companies that do this.
Actually, this is the only company in Indiana. We've called several different ones. None of them do their own metering and can provide the service that Midwest does. And so basically, the reason they can do it is because we're a donut county of Marion County. So they have a lot of businesses in Carmel and in the Indianapolis area that they service. And so they go around the donut counties and can do that. So we called L&D in New Albany. I think they're down the southern part of Indiana to see if they provided anything like that. They did not. They said when we met with Midwest, they said, we're really the only one that does this. And we verified that with L&D mailing services. And so that's why we only have the one contract.
Does it involve any, more than a 1-year agreement?
1-year agreement is all that they want to do because of mailing costs. So I'd like to try it out for a year and see how we get along. And then obviously if we feel that it's not a good fit for us, we could explore some other avenues. Postage since 2020 has been a bear in our office, to be honest. We had all that mail with the election in 2020 and it's just been a lot of costs and it's costly. I don't know. I wish there was a magic solution for it but we do send a lot of mail. And so, it's a good part of our budget. And so.
Carl, you ready?
And I do see this contract's a 12-month term and either party may terminate with a 60-day written notice. So
That's
there is an out if
Yes, that is
you
correct.
absolutely just hate it
Yes.
from the get-go. So, yep.
I'll make a motion, we approve the agreement with Midwest Pre-Sort Services.
Second.
I got a motion from Larry and a second to approve this proposal agreement for the clerk's office for postage over there. All in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carried.
Thank you
Okay.
so much. I appreciate that. I'm excited to try it. Second thing is our voting panels are over 20 years old and they have been a workhorse for us. They've performed well, but we knew going into the last presidential election that we would be okay, and we were, because we had lots of backups machines. We had 137 machines, but we can see that the brightness is not as bright perhaps as it could be. We did have several that got lines in it that we had to switch out, and thankfully we had plenty to do so. But talking to our vendor, Microvote, they said, I don't know how many more years you're going to expect these to last. And
Sure,
I
that's
said,
like asking a barber if you need a haircut.
well, that's true, but I can kind of relate to it as being like an old computer. It's still working, but it's not as good as perhaps a new system.
You've
And
had
so,
this for 20 years?
Yeah.
Is that
yeah,
right?
they're over 20 years old. So I felt like I was a little nervous going into our next presidential election when we would need all of our machines again. So I felt like it was time to kind of have that conversation with our vendors. And so in doing so, I realized that the price was going to increase $10,000 more. And so I felt like it was something that our election board needed to discuss. So I did so with them, and I went to the council and showed them the new panel just so that everybody would kind of know what I was thinking about. I didn't want to spring this on the county because to me, it's a huge purchase that I wanted everyone to kind of be aware of that this was happening.
Sherry, when we bought those machines, didn't we utilize some kind of grant?
I do not know for sure. I don't know.
Wasn't that real close to the time they had all the trouble in Dade County in Florida? And the federal government had
The
a.
hanging chads, it could have been,
Yeah,
I don't
thought
know.
it seems like I remember there was some kind of federal grant that we
Yes.
used to purchase those.
Yeah,
That predates the clerk and the auditor.
Thankfully, yes.
Um,
But yes, I don't know for sure a lot of history on when that
You
was
know,
purchased.
Sherry, I have always said, every election that we go through, it amazes me how quickly we have our results in Bartholomew County and the state of Indiana.
Well, yes, that's
Compared to-
because we have a fantastic IT
Well,
group that's willing to be there on election night and gets that on the
But
website
Indiana, I don't
immediately.
think Indiana has ever been one of those counties that are holding up the whole results of the election. And I often wonder, why don't other states do what we're doing in Indiana?
Well, every state is different, and so their processes are different. And after being at a few conferences and hearing some other states' processes, I do feel like Indiana's, got a lot on the ball in that arena, thanks to our Secretary of State's offices from years back that have set some good processes in place. And so, yeah.
Sherry, have you been budgeting for this?
Thankfully, our council has set a election fund that is supplemented by property taxes. So that money is there. I would be required to put a 60% down payment, which I've asked for in my budget. And then they will allow us to pay the remaining 40% over the next 2 years. So I pay 20%, in year 2 and then 20% in year 3 with no interest.
Okay, well, that begs the question then, if we approve this today and council denies it in the budget hearings, where does that put us? Does that put us in a pickle?
Well, I don't know. I might need to look at some of the council members and the attorney here to see what would happen in that case.
So this came before council last month and council gave the nod. We're gonna go forward. There's also enough in Sherry's budget currently in the fund to be able to take care of this expense for 2025 or early 26.
Right.
So it's one of those that council gave their preliminary approval to go forward.
It is an important thing to do.
Oh, I think it's very important that we have machines that are, one thing too about this, when we have the at-large race, that is always a little confusing because, sometimes people can skip over that. The way the lights light up on this, it's so much easier to realize you have not voted for that at-large race. So I think there's just going to be a lot of benefits to it. And, I'm cutting our number of machines down from 137 to 125 because with vote centers, we don't need quite as many. And with new equipment, we shouldn't have to have all these backups. And, I want our voters to be comfortable and, we have to have good transparency. So I feel like it creates when we have to take a panel out of the vote center because it has lines. I feel like, people just start to question that. And I feel like it's just really important that we have good equipment to support our elections.
Sherry, would it put you in a bind if we pass this contingent on council's budget approval?
No, that's fine. Yeah,
Feel
that's
comfortable
fine.
with that?
Sure, yes.
I would go ahead and make that motion that we approve the voting machine panels with Microvote General Corporation out of Indianapolis, contingent on council's budget approval.
I'll second.
I got a motion from Tony and a second to enter into this agreement with Microvote General Corporation for new voting panels. And specifically for Mr. Lovelace here today, another big ticket item. I don't know that Sherry or the commissioners have mentioned it. $350,498.75.
And that's over 3 years though, right?
And
Yes.
Sherry has got a deal where 60% is due. Pia even said it could be late 25 or in 26.
Can I interrupt in that?
Yes.
They are to be delivered in December of this year, paid in January of next year.
Oh, okay. So that first payment is $210,299.25. And then in 27 and 28, those amounts are $70,099.75.
Will we get 20 years out of these?
We should.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should.
Before I call for the vote, Brad,
Yeah, Sherry, could you remind me when the cost was gonna increase by $10,000?
Actually, it already has.
Okay.
Thankfully, they honored that. The tariffs had created $800 more per machine, so that's gonna be $10,000.
Sherry, they didn't want to honor it, but you forced them to honor it, didn't you?
Well, I think we started early
I
in
heard
the
the
year.
story. Yeah,
And so I'm glad, and our vendor has always been amazing to us. They are out of Indianapolis. They're local. They provide excellent support to us, so.
and Sherry's very humble, so she kind of brushed over that, didn't she?
No, I don't.
Yeah, but you did. I heard the story, but you
Took them to the woodshed.
took them to the shed and they said, okay, you're right, we'll honor that previous price, so. You know, we might, in approving this, I think we haven't voted yet, have we? We might, again, there's always interest included in the cost, because interest is an actual event of cash, so. We might, and Pia, you're involved with it on the council, but if we can save 10% by paying it up front, we probably ought to pay it up front if we have the money, and I think we do.
Well, I mean, they will not charge us interest. Now, like you said, it may
They
be
won't
built
charge
in.
us, but if you ask them, hey, if we pay it now, can we take 10% off of
Yeah,
that?
we
They
could
may,
try.
because somebody's paying interest. Okay, just a thought.
Yeah.
I'm not involved with it.
No, I appreciate
If
that.
it was my checkbook, that's what I would do, and most of us would
But
do the
it's
same.
different with cash flow. It's different with county money with cash flow.
Right.
I've got a motion and a second. All in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion
I
carried.
appreciate it. Thank
There you
you.
go.
This is a very momentous day for us to be looking towards this, but thank you for your
We can
support.
probably sell those old machines to Dade County in Florida. If you call them.
I think they've actually, from what I've
Cat-free
heard,
machines.
they've really done a lot of work down there. They've got it together now, so. Thank you so
Sherry.
much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Sherry. Our next item on the agenda, we have Shannon Cook with us from our Emergency Management Office. She is our director. You have likewise, not a real big ticket item, but an important item. Go
I
ahead,
do.
Shannon.
So this morning, I am asking you to sign the statement of work, which will allow us to switch our vendor for our mass notification system for the county. We currently use Everbridge, and as many people are aware, we've experienced some issues with Everbridge over the last couple of years, and we've had them for approximately 11 or 12 years, and we've not really kind of evaluated any of the other companies that have come about and are available to us in that time frame. So we thought with our contract coming up next year, it would be a good time for us to do that. And so we did, we kind of gathered feedback from other PSAPs, which are 911 centers across the state, asked them what they use, what they liked, what they didn't like. We reached out to other EMAs and asked them the same question, kind of narrowed that list down, demoed a handful of them, narrowed it down to 3, and then we have decided as far as user ease of use for the end user, for us, and for the public to sign up, the features that are available with this company, which is Code Red. We felt it was the best one, and the price between all of them that we demoed were all within about $1,000 or $2,000 of each other. All of them, including Code Red, are going to allow us, well, we'll pay the additional, or we'll pay for Code Red this year for the first year out of our budget, which I have the money in my budget. We'll also pay for the final year of Everbridge for the county's portion. Next year, we will actually reduce the cost of our mass notification system by over 50%.
Shannon, it's a big deal.
It is.
This emergency notification at every level, state level, federal level, are all being reevaluated. There was something in the newspaper maybe just last week about the governor
The
looking at
governor's
the
committee.
state
Mhm.
emergency notification system. We've all been used to Everbridge for the last dozen years.
Mhm.
Warts and all, we know it's not perfect, But this is a big deal because we're changing our core emergency notification system for the entire county.
Yes.
And with that come hiccups. So I'm glad to hear that we're going to be using both for 1 year, right? We're going to
Yes,
have
we'll have an overlap.
Everbridge, we'll have an overlap of Everbridge and Code Red for a year to make sure that we work out any sort of hiccups that there might be.
Correct.
But it's half the cost of Everbridge. More
Capability.
capabilities, better ease of use for the operator, better choices for the end user.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit how it differs from Everbridge?
So right now, one, how we use it as far as administering the system, it's easier for us to use. We don't have to switch between screens and tabs in the system. We just go in, we select the type of message we want to send. We select the group we want to send it to, type the message out, hit send, it goes. On the end user side of that, we type the message in English, and the end user can choose what language they want to receive it in. So our Hispanic speaking population, any of the nationalities that are here with the businesses across the county that may need to receive it in a different language, they pick it, it delivers it automatically translated into that language so that we make sure that we reach everybody, not just those that can understand the English version of it. We can use keywords. So while we have people that are signed up and everybody that's currently signed up with Everbridge, part of the agreement is to migrate all of those users to the new system.
That's what I was gonna ask. Are
Yes.
people gonna have to sign up for a whole new system?
No, we are going to try to make this as seamless as possible for the end user. So all of those will be migrated over. All of our current templates that we use, like we have pre-scripted messages for child abductions, for the marathon, for different things. Those will automatically be transferred over into the new system so that we don't have to recreate them. However, in the future, those will be easier for us to do. And then keywords, we can use keywords. So right now, take the marathon. We have an influx of people that come in from out of county that we don't necessarily want 1,000 extra people signing up for our system and then unsigning up when they leave at the end of the weekend. We can use a keyword, and many of us see it now. You can send, say, marathon to a 5-digit number, and you automatically are signed up to receive alerts. Well, we can do that with this system. So we can say, you want to receive alerts, updates for the marathon.
For a
and that-
specific event?
Yes. And we'll have 5 of those that we can reuse throughout the year. So we can do it for the marathon. That'll include any alert, any changes for the marathon information, road closures, weather updates, weather alerts that come in. We just add them to that weather alert and it gets sent out. And then when the marathon is over, we can recycle that and say, okay, Ethnic Expo comes up later in the year. You can type Ethnic Expo to this number and then it works the same way. So we can use 5 of those.
A couple months ago, we approved something called Pause,
iPause?
iPause.
Yes.
How will that integrate into this? Because that's different in that you don't have to sign up for that.
Correct. That's the one that comes now, that instead of being signed up for a system and even something like the keywords, those are for life-threatening or life safety messages only. So take any type of, say we have an endangered child,
Gas leak.
not an amber leak, gas leak. We can geofence around a
Geofence, you can draw a circle on the computer.
and it will hit. We can do that with the system now. We can draw the circle around somewhere now with the regular system. Both Everbridge and Code Red will allow us to do that. But say we need to pull from a geographical area around the cell tower. So we can send that message out to everybody that says gas leak, shelter in place.
But with
Whatever.
Everbridge, it only goes to the people that are signed up.
Correct.
With
iPause,
iPause,
it will
it's,
go.
let's say we're having a big event, a big soccer tournament
Mhm.
up at Parkside.
Yes,
And there's a tornado coming that direction.
yes.
You can draw a circle or geofence on the computer, and everybody with a cell phone whether they've signed up for the service or not, will get that message that there's a storm coming towards them.
Correct. And the difference between iPause and that one, because tornado warnings will come out for iPause too. But say we have an event up there, we can set it to send that message out one time, or we can send a duration of time so that anybody new
So
that
if somebody
comes into
comes
the
in an
area
hour
2 hours
later,
later,
They'll
and
get
we
the
still
message.
have that going, they'll receive the alert too.
Is the bottom line that people will be safer and have more advanced
Yes.
notice? Of
Yes.
things like floods and, you know,
Anything.
gas
Hazmat
leaks.
spills, police presence for, you know, a high profile event, anything like that. Anything that's life safety, life threatening, we can use iPause for, to send those types of messages.
This is a good move.
Yes.
I support it fully.
And just for the record, for the cost, we are getting 6 months free, which will allow us to migrate everything over, get everybody trained, and then we'll have a year to test the system, everything, have Everbridges and overlap. Our Everbridge expires next September. I think it's the 24th in 2026. The first year of this is $11,944.99. Of that, we will pay the first year for this, and I had the money in my budget from what was previously approved for the mobile app that we asked for. So we'll pay that first year out of this. Starting with year 2, we will then do the normal split that we do with the city, except this time the agreement will be between Bartholomew County and Code Red, and we'll bill the city versus the city billing us. But
So it's 11 or 12,000 a year. How much is Everbridge that do we, it's 30,000?
right now, our current cost for Everbridge, total is $27,888, or I'm sorry, $883.96 a year, of which we pay 11,432 of that.
We,
and
I mean,
the
the
county.
county. Yeah.
Because we are on a 59-41% split with the city of Columbus, and we'll still keep that with Code Red starting year 2. We'll just bill the city versus the city billing us.
Thank you. Thanks for all the work. I don't have any more questions, Carl.
Anybody else?
Shannon, silly question. The language translation.
Uh-huh.
That's a pre-programmed, is it determined by how I have my phone set, whether it's English, Portuguese, Japanese? My phone is set for a language and then,
It'll be your account in Code Red, so that may be one thing that an end user will need to go in and change, because that'll be a new feature, but we can obviously assist them with that. They would
Okay.
go into their account, so if you sign up for either Everbridge or Code Red, you have a user account that has, okay, here's my name, here's my address, here are the type of alerts that I want to receive, and the only thing that we do not allow you to opt out of is a tornado warning. Everyone in the system does receive that, but the others you can choose whether you want to receive the advisories, watches, warnings, for flood, the whole gamut of things. In Code Red, what that is just another checkbox that you had a drop-down menu. Okay, I want to receive my alerts in Spanish.
got it.
There you go.
Usually I fall to the side of English. You know me, I like English. But in this case, I would spend money to send it out in multiple languages.
We need to make sure that we're reaching
Well, and
everybody.
it benefits the whole because
Yes.
we don't have people unaware that a tornado's about to come. So I'm glad that it has that.
Yes.
Bottom line is people will be safer.
Yes.
Tony, did you make a motion?
No, I was waiting for any more questions.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm ready.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve this statement of work and enterprise subscription service with Crisis 24 Code Red for our Bartholomew County Emergency Management.
I'll second.
You got a motion from Tony and a second to consider this statement of work with Crisis 24. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed. Motion carry.
Great. Thank
There
you.
you go,
Shannon,
Shannon.
thank
Thank
Being
you.
Here.
You know, with the storms that we've had and the flood that we had back in spring, people sometimes got the message, sometimes they didn't. With the tornado, we'd get the state message, or the federal message, but we may not get a local message. Hopefully this puts an end to that and people can be notified with plenty of time to make good decisions.
Yes,
Thank you.
exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shannon.
Thanks, Shannon.
Our next item, we have consideration of an agreement with Reedy Financial Group, PC. And I see Mark Corbett's with us from the county council. Mark, do you want to come up and just give us a minute or
I think on the
two
11th hour.
synopsis of what you're,
I'm the 11th hour fill-in, Leah, apologize. She's
that's
gonna be here.
okay.
Actually, what we're asking for is that agreement, so we're going, as you guys know, with the Senate Bill 1 and the ping pong match we're doing with the wheel tax and everything else. We need an analysis done over basically what the proposal is there through the year 2032, giving us proper data, how that's going to affect tax rates and everything else for the council. And like I said, it's the 11th hour, but we're needing this going into budget to get some good numbers. So as you guys know, with the wheel tax, we're looking at some roads that need fixed, and they're going to be asking money that's probably going to be short from the state. And we need to know where our funds are going.
But it's not an accident,
Oh, I know.
because the state told us that
Right.
if we don't pass if you don't pass another tax, you're not gonna get any of this tax money.
Right. And part of this, what Reedy will give to us also, I think the contract was an initial 20,000, 15,000 be how it impacts the county, not only there, but later for the taxes and up to 2032, they give us analysis. But also 5,000 of that will go to knowing what the municipalities, how to impact them in the future. And there's going to be a lot on our plate at this budget cycle, and we need this data to properly figure out what our path will going forward, how we're going to fund things.
There's no question that the amount of money, the way the money comes into the county is gonna change drastically. It's gonna change for the city of Columbus. It's gonna change for the other incorporated towns in Bartholomew County. Everybody is gonna have changes. And honestly, I don't think a lot of the people that voted for this at the state level quite understand the impact it's gonna have.
And that's a learning curve on our part. And the reason we were wanting this, the Reedy Group, basically to get us some guidance, because you well know that we've asked all department heads and even yourselves a 5-year plan. And we've got a lot of projects on the plate in the county ongoing. And we need to make sure that we can sustain that and hopefully not increase taxes. But we need this data to properly do that for the taxpayers.
Any questions from the audience? Press?
I actually was fortunate to meet with this group with Leah Byer and understand what they do and get a small taste of what the changes that are going to come forth. And we don't want to pass a wheel tax. We don't want to pass any new taxes. And so we need to understand how this is going to work. The
Tony,
fee.
have you noticed that the gasoline prices have gone down because we're no longer paying all of the state tax and federal tax?
Oh,
Didn't
no,
that happen?
no.
It didn't?
Trick question. No, sir, it has not happened.
But this one really, really can get me heated up a little bit.
And you know, that's where it puts the rock in the hard place with the council, because it also gives the city ability to put on a wheel tax too, if we choose not to.
But our citizens are still paying all that gasoline tax,
They
right?
sure are.
But they're
and
not gonna get reimbursement to help maintain our roads. Is that correct?
That's my understanding.
That's my understanding too. I keep looking for that tax to be taken off.
The scope of
And
services.
that's our position, at least my position on council is if we've got funds in our rainy fund or other ability to pay for some of this without creating a tax, we need to do that first.
Absolutely.
And we need to totally analyze over the next 7 years. And that's what Reedy will give us, what monies we'll have coming in, going out, and have a plan for the future for here.
Well, we had a plan and we asked our esteemed attorney to see if we could do it, right? We were gonna opt out of 10 cents of the state tax and federal tax and
How's
then
that going?
create our Bartholomew County tax. And we would have gotten 10 cents a gallon of the 58 that we now pay, right?
Sounds like
58 cents.
Sounds like a tea party.
Doesn't that sound like a good deal? But Jim said we can't do it.
No. The scope of services of this agreement with Reedy Financial Group is not huge. They, it's 15,000 not to exceed 15,000, with an optional overlapping impact projection of 5,000. So 20,000 max. This will come out of the county council budget. All right.
Yes.
Want to ask questions, Carl?
And before I do, I think you can't believe everything you read on your phone, but I did see here over the weekend where I think the state of Indiana is we rank 4th out of 50 in gasoline taxes.
You mean how high it is?
In high, not low, but in high. We're either 4th or 5th in the nation. Any questions? I see any hands up? Okay,
Y'all can't tell. We're pretty frustrated by some of this stuff.
I
make a
feel your
motion that we-
pain.
Make a motion that we approve this agreement with Reedy Financial Group for the county council.
and I'll second that. Got a motion from Tony and a second to approve this agreement with Reedy Financial. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
All right?
Aye. Those opposed?
Aye. That's
Okay.
protest. I'm gonna go on a hunger strike.
See that noted in the,
I support the council getting this data.
yeah.
And we
Gonna be
need it.
noted
I
it was
totally
a 2-1
agree with you.
vote.
Or was that a 2-1?
What's that? 2-1.
2-1.
2-1.
2-1.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Out of principle, Larry, out of principle.
I think he did that out of principle, just to note to the public that we don't always agree on everything 100%.
Well, there's two things in my tenure, and it's been a while, but I have found just to be a head shaker was the 2-mile jurisdiction law that was enacted in the late 90s, where it gave the city of Columbus the ability to govern land in that 2-mile donut around the city, which really affected
For
a
zoning.
lot for zoning, which really affected a lot of property owners. I bought a farm from my neighbor widow about 3 years ago, but she was very limited on what she could do with that farm because of the 2-mile jurisdiction, and I paid the price according to that. And then this one is the other one that just really make me shake my head, that our legislators would take a position forcing local governments, withholding money from our citizens that they're paying at the pump, a little bit for road maintenance, but we're no longer gonna get that. And the answer, and Sharon's shaking her head and laughing. Do you want to say anything, Sharon? She's wanting to say there's a lot of Republicans up at the State House. Isn't that what you're wanting to say?
For the last 4
Yeah,
years?
go ahead. You want to stand up? But it really, those two items, just, I want to shake my head at them. I'll shut up.
We had a motion and a second. Did we vote? We voted, didn't we? Yeah, that's right. We voted. It was 2-1. Okay, next item. We got consideration of an amendment number 8 to our Bartholomew County Flex Benefit Plan. And who wants to speak to this? Larry, you want to speak to it?
Not really, Carl,
Happy to.
but I will.
Just give us
Go ahead,
briefly.
Tony. You go. You're
This is
better.
very simple housekeeping. The IRS has changed the maximum amount an individual can contribute to a dependent care FSA.
And that is tax deferred, right,
It is
Tony?
tax, well, it's tax.
Isn't it?
It's
So
a
you take that
deductible.
money
It's
before
deductible.
pre-tax, yes.
It was $3,750 for married individuals. I'm sorry. Yes, it was $3,750. Maybe you should have spoke about it. It went from a $5,000 limit to a $7,500 limit
Half
for
if you're filing.
dependent care FSA, effective January 1st, 2026. And our plan has to make this change in order to be compatible with the IRS rule.
And we're wanting to get this done prior to open enrollment, which I think is going to happen here into
1st of
September,
October.
1st of October, I think. So
I'll make a motion that we approve amendment number 8 to the Bartholomew County Flexible Benefit Plan.
Second.
I've got a motion from Larry and a second to approve this amendment number 8 to our flexible benefit plan, summary plan. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carried. Next item.
Carl, Pia, do you know if we have we have a lot of employees that utilize this, don't we?
I have no idea.
I think we got a number a few weeks ago and it was,
Significant.
yeah, surprising to me, and yet it's a great benefit because it's pre-tax money.
Tony, you have our next item before you.
I should get the $500 extra a year, I think. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. I'm teasing. We have an appointment to the Bartholomew County Plan Commission. Kathy Thompson notified the Plan Commission in early April she needed to resign because of the makeup of the Plan Commission, and state law requires that no single party have more than a, what do they call it?
Simple majority.
Simple majority. We needed to put someone that was not a Republican on there, and we tried 3 times. But because of that 2-mile zoning rule that Larry hates, we had to back out of it. And we found a young man who has agreed to be appointed. His name is Josh Burbrink. He will fill the position, will expire December 31st of this year. And he lives far enough out that he actually qualifies. So I would make a motion that we approve Josh Burbrink as an appointment to the Bartholomew County Plan Commission.
I'll second.
And a motion from Tony and a second to approve Josh Burbrink to the County Plan Commission. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those
Carl,
opposed,
I would note.
motion
Tony,
carried.
I apologize if you said this, but that is filling an unexpired term.
I think I said, I think, yeah.
Ian, he did say that. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Our next item, our auditor has an item. You want to address it, Pia?
I do. I am staring on the screen right now. And this is a comparison of, the first column is the 2020 request and second column is the 2025 approved of our budget. So state law says that I need to present this to you. These include a 2% increase for employees. So county general, the total that's requested is $41,782,231, as opposed to last year, the approved budget was $38,419,882. As I stated earlier, 2% raise for employees, that equates to approximately, with benefits that are also included in here, $430,000 of an increase. The commissioners, as we've stated, the changes with road funding, they've included in their request 1.2 million out of general fund for road funding. Then we have some other requests. This will all be presented to county council next Monday, starting at approximately 1:30 in the afternoon. It will also be live streamed. So more details forthcoming. And then on our other funds, what we currently have in other funds, 28,996,903, as opposed to 33,180,943. Some of the changes there, as you see there on the bottom, we do not have any debt service specifically in this budget. That is because we will be paying off the jail bond in the first of 2026, essentially the end of this year. We have enough money in our funds of reserve to be able to pay that off. So that'll be a line item in our property taxes that we will not have going forward. We also have some line items. You'll see probation line item as a difference. At this time, because of state law changes, we don't know what we will be receiving for probation. Those are not really on so when we get that information, we'll put that in the budget, or we will address those items as an additional appropriation in front of council. So there's a lot of moving parts in this budget. but I'm presenting this to you, satisfying my requirement. There you go.
Yes, as Leah said, that she must do this yearly, prior to county council doing budget hearings. So I'd
You
make
know-
a motion that we accept the auditor's presentation of the 144s.
Second? Second?
Got a motion from myself and a second to accept the 144s. All in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank
Those
you.
opposed. Thank you,
Thank you,
Pia.
Pia.
I think Larry has the next item, treasurer's monthly report.
I have the treasurer's monthly report for the month of June, signed by our county treasurer, Barb Hackman. I'll move that we accept that into our minutes.
Second.
I got a motion from Larry and a second to approve the treasurer's monthly report for June. All in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Motion carried. That's the end of our published agenda. Just make a note before I open it up with any comments. We did have the ribbon cutting Friday morning for the new pickleball courts. And one of our esteemed guests was Charlie Day, who is a avid pickleball enthusiast. And his engineering firm that he represents did the work for that. And it's a beautiful facility. And those in attendance were appreciative. And it was a nice affair. Thank you, Charlie. Any other items from?
Well, I want to comment along that. 'Cause
Okay.
I thought about this over the weekend and I didn't think of it when I was there. Over the years, we spend a lot of money in county government, much of which goes to providing for people that don't want to obey the rules. If we could eliminate the courthouse and the courts, eliminate our county jail, our sheriff's department, think of what county, I mean, our budgets would, our property taxes would go to minimal. And I was trying to think of the last time that we spent any sizable amount of money on people that want to obey the rules or that obey the rules. And we cut the ribbon Friday morning out there and there were, what, 120 to 130 people there? And it was nice to do something. And I know this probably sets off protests or whatever, but it was nice to do something once for people that obey the rules. Not that everybody out there always obeys the rules, but I think of the ribbon cuttings that we've had over the years, the jail addition, the probation department. And it was nice to do something that wasn't tied at the hip to the penal system. So thank you, Charlie, and thank you, commissioners, for being willing to do that, because we've received a little bit of criticism for it. But that will be utilized so much, they'll wear the paint off of the asphalt out there with the number of people that are using it. And I'm a little bit shocked at the usage already. And 2/3 of the county still don't realize that it's there. I'm curious to see the fights that start happening over court time.
No, the pickleball people know it's there.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see as that develops.
I like the fact that it's for all ages. So much of our parks go for the kids and they should.
Yeah,
Baseball, softball, whatnot. But this is for people of all ages.
Well, it's
There are
for
people
all
out there that are
ages.
90-year-old
but
people.
Friday,
out there.
Tony, how many people did you see that were under 55 out there?
I might have been the youngest person there.
You were close, yeah.
But in the evenings, it's full of the younger folks and the
Is it
families.
in the evenings? Okay. The older ones are smart enough to come out in the
It
morning.
was
and
full
beat the
this
heat.
morning when I drove in.
Yeah, it amazed me, but it was nice to do. Tina, thank you for your help. And Pia, thank you, because you helped us utilize some of President Obama's money that he gave away.
Well, originally, it wasn't President Obama, it was
Or President Biden, I meant.
Yeah, it was all President Biden.
Biden, I meant Biden.
Because originally we were gonna pay for this with the American Rescue Plan money, but because of
Right.
project delays, et cetera, then we had to use that money
Yep.
for the courthouse project, and
Right.
we're using some of the money that was in the commission.
But the availability of funds made it possible.
Exactly, because this is one of those things that it is gonna improve quality of life. I know a lot of my friends play pickleball, and I'm a golfer, so I don't. But, you know, improving quality of life is just adds to economic development, blah, 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 so.
Sure does.
But it was nice to be a part of it.
Yes. Any items else? And on that closing note, another big item in that vicinity that we spent our money on was the new lighting for Dunn Stadium, which is right next door. And I did think after the weekend or during the weekend that we in the commissioner's office need to make a list of the items that we spent our money on, so that is available, because I think the community be proud of just about everything that we did with that money.
Sewer project at the fairgrounds.
Just,
I
you
thought
know,
I presented.
work
that
at the
already.
jail,
You have.
work at the
You have.
courthouse.
He
Yeah.
means just
Several times.
top of
We just
mind.
need to keep reminding ourselves.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
We have that
yeah,
on
look
record.
back at your minutes. We've done
Yeah,
it.
that's in the minutes.
We thank you for your attention, your time. We are